The younger flight attendant turned around as Sonya moved closer, and a congenial smile stretched across her lips. "The rear lavatory is closed temporarily," she said. "You can still use the one in the front of the plane." Sonya realized she probably didn't look the part of a medical professional in the short tropical dress she hadn't had time to change out of before catching her flight, but she'd expected to at least be given a chance to introduce herself before being dismissed. "I'm a nurse. I'm here to help with a medical emergency," she explained. "Oh, thank you for answering the call, but we have all the help we need. Dr. Travis is handling the situation." Sonya nodded, wishing she'd seen Dr. Travis before she'd played semi-not-safe-for-work Twister to climb out of her seat. The thought of going through that again made her shudder, but there was no reason for her to stick around. Dr. Travis had everything under control. She'd just steeled herself to walk away when a different flight attendant emerged from the galley with a glass of what looked like orange juice. "Here's the juice you asked for," she said, handing the glass to the doctor. He turned his head and grinned at the pretty blonde, giving Sonya her first real look at his face and his warm blue eyes that crinkled up at the corners with his smile. "Thank you," he replied. He had a slight accent that brought back memories of the frat boy bros she'd gone to school with back in Virginia, as the pieces of the medical emergency puzzle clicked together in her mind. There was a split second there when she thought about just keeping her mouth shut and going back to her seat. The guy was a doctor, so he obviously knew what he was doing, but she couldn't stop the words before they started spilling out of her mouth. "There are glucose tablets in the plane's first aid kit. Those are better for hypoglycemia than orange juice, especially since we don't know her medical history." He paused, shifting his attention to her, and she felt his eyes drift across her body from head to toe before landing on hers. "I think the orange juice will work just fine," he countered with a smirk that plucked her last nerve. She'd always thought that Cockiness 101 was a core class in medical school, and this guy must have aced it. She folded her arms over her chest and frowned. "It's okay if you don't have glucose tablets, but we have them, so we should use them. If she has underlying kidney issues, orange juice could do more harm than good. Plus, the glucose tablets are faster." Ignoring her frown, his smirk stretched into a full grin. "Look, thanks for the advice," he said, "but I think we're good here." Was he dismissing her? He'd definitely heard her tell the flight attendant that she was a nurse. She'd never allowed doctors to talk down to her before, and she wasn't about to start. "What was your name again?" "Everyone calls me Trav." "Okay, Trav. What kind of medicine do you practice?" His grin wobbled, and he was suddenly unable to look her in the eye. He sighed, looking at everything but her before clearing his throat. "None. I was a combat medic in Afghanistan, and I'm about to start my hospital internship for paramedic certification." Sonya's brain slowed to a near crawl as she tried to process what she'd just heard. She had nothing against paramedics. Their training was similar to what nurses went through, and she respected their ability to treat sometimes critical patients while speeding down city streets. But this guy wasn't a paramedic. This guy was almost a paramedic, and that was completely unacceptable. She glanced over to the patient, whose condition hadn't changed much, aside from the confusion that had settled in across her features, and decided she was stable enough to wait for the glucose tablets. Glaring back at the almost paramedic, she snatched the glass of orange juice from his hand before turning to the flight attendant, who'd been watching their exchange with wide eyes. "Bring me the plane's first aid kit, now," she ordered. Her eyes darted back to the imposter sitting next to her patient. "Please move away from my patient so I can help her." He didn't move, and the defiance in his eyes made her wonder if he would. She was just about to tell him that posing as a medical professional was something she could bring up to the ethics board when he cursed under his breath and ran a hand through his short hair before standing. "Fine," he grumbled, "but only because arguing about it isn't helping anyone. Most of all, your patient." His eyes never leaving hers, he moved out of the row and stood to the side so that she could take the seat he'd vacated. "I guess the saying is right," Sonya said, sliding past him. "Even a broken watch is right every now and then." The flight attendant returned with the first aid kit, just as Sonya sat down.